Hello and welcome to the first bonus video of Let's Play Sonic Robo Blast 2. I'm going to be loading the file I completed last time and going to Castle Eggman Zone Act 2 so I can access a secret level. Oh, hold on. Oh, never mind, there we go. Hopefully the sound effects aren't quite loud and horrible. Even though the door opened there, which is the special stage route, because I have all of the Chaos Emeralds, that door opens and I can skip a large portion of the level. I have to purposely go this way, the slow way. I'm going to go down here and get this emerald open, and then just so I can just turn super. There we go. No, I don't really need to care about the rest of the level. The end isn't too far in. I have to take the same route as I do when I get to the open courtyard, where I would have shortcutted to. I have to take the regular route up with the I have to go up with the pulleys and then follow it around to the cannonball room, and then I access it from just after there. It's a level based on the final zone. If you don't have all the emeralds of the Mystic Realm, which is Aerial Garden, and it is Acts 1, 2 and 3 all in a row, and with the bonus special stage level also Act 3 probably you can skip it, so I'm going to be skipping it when I had to do it. I'll stop a couple of videos from now most likely. What I have left of SRB2 is what I'm probably going to do is this, Sonic Robo Blast 1, and I'll probably also do Sonic Into Dreams if I can get enough emblems, but I can't imagine that will be too difficult. I'm just going to do this pulley room, and we're pretty much home free. This part is a bit difficult to time with Supersonic because his physics are very different. His jump height in particular, basically his acceleration, that sort of thing, is here before, this entrance was not available, and this is the there we go. Oh, apparently I'm being married and being given all of the rings instead of actually going to the level, which is interesting to say the least. Maybe because I jumped over, it's not letting me go through. So what I'm going to do is cut the recording and then restart it at the level. Right, here we go with Aerial Garden Zone. Oh, this is a sort of a port of the last regular zone from the Mystic Realm, which is, funnily enough, Aerial Garden Zone. This is Neo Aerial Garden Zone as it's edited a level. The format for normal Aerial Garden... Oh, Christ almighty! I kept doing that in my test videos for the Mystic Realm. The format for regular Aerial Garden Zone is you have Act 1, which is a short act, and it's not too challenging. Act 2 is much longer, and also has the Mystic Temple, which is a pain to unlock on that level. You then have Act 3, which is a short act full of some small platforming challenges to activate a lift, and then Act 4 is the boss arena. It also has Starlight Palace Zone, which is the Emerald stage for that zone. What we have here in Neo Aerial Garden Zone is we have Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 and technically 4, and Starlight Palace Zone all stuck together on top of each other. I say on top of each other, they all lead onto each other in this massive sprawling level. It's quite difficult to say the least. It's very long, but it is considerably toned down over the original, which it's basically, the level isn't changed too much. That spring doesn't exist, for example. You have to do some platforming around the outside of the room to get up here. But pretty much the normal version is entirely full of badniks, and it's a massive pain in the arse because it's, pardon me, very, very difficult to progress with 20 flying badniks shooting at you and dropping bombs all over the place. In addition to that, pretty much every platform has caller commanders all over it. And some of the platforms are incredibly small. But so basically, the reason this exists in the game as a sort of an unlockable is I read that it really pushes SRB2 to its absolute limit for it to even exist. So which I thought was fairly interesting. And it's also a nice unlock and a homage to Mystic Realm in a way, because this zone is actually quite nice, done like this. Also, I'm in Act 2 now. That huge temple area was the start of Act 2, I forgot to mention that. As I was saying, the level is actually fairly nice in this version. The actual normal version is mostly quite horrible, because, as I said, all of the badnik placement just makes the whole thing impossibly difficult. Well, I use the word impossibly quite wrongly. I've beaten it, so... But it makes it a massive pain in the arse is more what I'm getting at. I could really do with a new shield now to make sure that I don't go super when I thock. Because it won't help me all that much, to be honest. There are certain places where it will. Having supersonic physics is beneficial, but for the most part I'm fairly adjusted to using sonics. Especially after the test stream I did where I spent like a billion hours on this level having to activate the Mystic Temple, which was a barrel of laughs. But then the levels preceding that weren't too bad. So I'm hoping that when I actually get around to recording those, it shouldn't be a horrible 4 million year long video. It should be fairly straightforward, especially Act 1 and 3, which are mostly just simple platforming challenges. Act 3 in particular has a, oh Christ, has a nice feature where there are no checkpoints, technically, but you have to activate 4 switches, but any you activate and then die stay activated, although the timer doesn't reset. So you can technically speedrun the level hilariously by just activating all 4 switches, then dying and thocking onto the lift, and then getting sort of the fastest possible time. Which I won't be doing unless I do. I might do it on purpose just for giggles, but it's not what I'm aiming for in the video. I think this time I'm going to ignore the shield. I'm going to go straight across and just use that once I'm on the other side. Or I'm going to... Oh no, I didn't kill myself, thank God. I really don't know why I'm finding this platforming section so difficult, because it's not. Oh dear Christ. Oh, lucky save there. I forgot that I had more than 50 rings and I was going to go super. That was entirely my own fault. Right, this way. There's some bonus rings and an electric shield here, so that's going to help me stay super for a while. If I remember rightly, I want to go right here because it's simpler. But this is fairly near the end actually. There's this room, the room following it, and then it's just sort of straight always right to the finish. Act 3 then will take me approximately 4 seconds because I can skip all of it. And Starlight Palace is also mostly straightforward, but it's a little more tricky. Might as well grab that shield when my rings inevitably run out. Down here, Knuckles is climbing up there. Sonic and Tails jump up through this section and go down here. And now I get this lovely platforming room, which is much nicer than it is in Mystic Realm. In Mystic Realm it has 1 badnik, but you can just stand at the beginning of the room and let him come to you. What this version has that Mystic Realm doesn't is that spring down on the ground. Oops. It has a couple of springs around so that you can just get to them and then launch your way out. The actual version in Mystic Realm does not have that. So you have to locate which one is the highest platform and then work from that. It is a monumental pain. I spent quite a while in this room, but hopefully that won't be the case here because it's not too difficult. You can mostly run straight forwards like this and just jump diagonally. But there comes a point where you kind of have to work out where you need to go, and it's a bit clumsy and awkward. think it's this platform next that I want. I can just grab it on the downwards. There we go. I'll take this one. Oh dear. There. Oh, this platform is moving. I didn't realise it was. Next one I want is this one right ahead, which actually is the platform to get out if you're doing this the normal way. This is the one that leads up highest up. There we go. Now I'm in the end of the level, pretty much. It's a straight... In the regular version there are a load of bad nicks here. There are the flying ones and crawler commanders all over the place, but in this version it's just a straight run to the end, which is this temple. And we run inside. And what you would normally have to do here is jump on the teleporters, and then you go through and light a switch to light fires, and then the lift comes down and you either lift up. But because this is a heavily modified version, I can just go nope and run straight out into Starlight Palace, which doesn't look quite right because the background is still the regular sky from Aerial Garden. Normally it has a nice nighttime sky effect, but that is not the case currently. I'm going to go this route because this route has the double jump shield, which is very handy. A lot of this level, it is kind of tricky to work out where you're supposed to go, but other than that, it's not too difficult. Especially the Mystic Temple room there's a Mystic Temple inside the Chaos Emerald stage, interestingly enough, which leads to a secret level, which I don't know if you can access or not. Presumably you can get to it, but it'll be empty and pointless. So I'm going to save that for when I have to use Mystic ROM properly, and it won't be a waste of time for me to go through it. It does have, although technically in the current version of Mystic ROM, it's also pointless to do that anyway, because actually going into the other bonus stage has no effect. But it did used to in that's one room down. Now I don't remember which section I'm in. Ah, the waterfall room. Okay. Normally, out there, it is a sheer drop. You can just run out and die. But there is also a platform with rings on it, I believe a 10-ring capsule. There's also this switch that you also need to move a gargoyle statue to, which does the gargoyle statue exist still? Let's find out. It does, so I'm going to open it, but not go down there. I'm just going to see if it's actually functioning. This doesn't work quite how it does in regular Mystic ROM. In regular Mystic ROM there's a flowing river here, which makes doing this difficult. But this leads to Rings of the Life. Sweet. I'll take that. 2 extra mans. And now I'll get back to the level. I'm glad I did that now, because I was only down to 1 life. Right, now this is fairly near the end of the level actually. There's a lift here which I'm going to ride up. If I go right to the top there's an extra life and some rings. And I'm at pretty much the last hard part of the level. Let's see. Get myself a couple of extra lives. The next part is quite challenging. What you have to do, I'll describe it when we actually get there, but rest assured it's probably the hardest part of the level, but it's also the last difficult thing in the level, which is quite nice. If I remember rightly, there is a hallway here. Yep. There's an extra, the platforms all crumble away, but there's an extra life there to grab. Oh. Oh dear, I did not mean to do that, but never mind. Through here. Oh, now I remember, this part doesn't exist, I don't think, in the regular Mystic ROM. Or at least if it did, I genuinely do not remember it. I certainly don't remember when I last played it, so... But it's just a short underwater segment, which is actually kind of simple with Supersonic, I'll be honest. Most of the challenge was being able to jump around and get to places you need to go before you drown, but it's not really that much of a big deal with Supersonic. That's where I have to go next, so I want to get oxygen. Now I go up here. room done. And can I just, yep. Well, that entire room skipped horribly. Not that I'm complaining. Now, this should be the conveyors, if I remember rightly. No, actually, I went a different route and skipped the horrible room entirely by the looks of it. This would be the way that leads to the missing temple, if I remember rightly. I'm just going to double check to make sure. Yep, but it's blocked off. You can't go there. Not sure if any of it is functioning, but there looks like a spring in the platform down there, but I'll be honest, I'm not going to risk it. Although I didn't actually look this way last time, so it's interesting to see what's changed. Now, round here and through here. This should... Oh no, here is the conveyor section, it's just been moved. Okay, this part is a bit horrid. As you'll see. There are just a huge amount of conveyors, and you have to jump between them, and there are pits either side, and there are only small holes in the walls. It's not so bad until you get to, say, the 4th or 5th one, and then there's a tiny gap that you have to angle through. And if you angle incorrectly, Sonic just snags on the wall and dies. Although this is edited, the gap is approximately as wide as Sonic's character in the original version, and that's oh dear, horrible. But that is pretty much the end of the level, if I remember correctly. Yep, here we go. Well, that was Neo Aerial Garden Zone, ported from the Mystic Realm. At some point, I will be doing another bonus video, which will be the Sonic Robo Blast 1 remake. I'll see you then.